to Captain's Log, episode 4. My name is Chris, also known as Rachel Garrett on stowwiki.org and starbaseutc.com. In this show we cover Star Trek, video games and related stuff. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your constructive criticism and many kind words on the last episode, and I hope to continue making a podcast that most of you out there enjoy. And I got the message that I shouldn't cancel Star Trek Online from the show altogether, and that it should be in some way incorporated into the show. What I meant to say last week was that I don't want to model the show so that it serves Star Trek Online primarily, or if that makes any sense. So the show should be more independent, stand on its own, and if we have to discuss something that is related to Star Trek Online, well, then that's good, then we will do that, and we will discuss it later this week. But first of all, I wanted to discuss some Trek news. So you may already know that 2012 is the 25th anniversary for Star Trek The Next Generation. And CBS is celebrating this event by remastering Star Trek The Next Generation to Blu-ray. And this is no easy process because the show was shot on film, but then downsampled to video to create effects such as the transporter beam, phaser beams, photon torpedoes, explosions, force fields, and a lot of stuff. So this all needs to be recomposited and some special effects need to be redone. For example, the crystalline entity was a computer-generated effect that was only rendered to standard definition, and well, the computer model is lost, so you cannot go in and reload that model and render all these scenes at full HD, so the crystalline entity had to be redone, as had the force field created by Q in the pilot episode Encounter at Farpoint, and so on and so forth. So this was quite an elaborate remastering process, and you will be able to buy Star Trek The Next Generation Season 1 later in July. But there is another project in the pipeline. IDW has recruited Brannon Braga to write a TNG comic book series called Hive. And this will be a sequel to Star Trek First Contact, and well, it has the usual stuff in it. The Queen is back, the cubes are back, time travel, the cover shows 7 of 9 and some Borg which appear to be interfering with the victory celebration in New York after World War II. And well, this might be fun or it might be stupid. I don't know yet, and these will be released later this year. But something that is definitely cool and worth to check out is an alternate version of the original Star Trek opening sequence created by the Quintek group. And this alternate version was released via Vimeo, and you will find the link to that in the show notes below. Then there is something that I'm quite fond of, and that is an expansion to the board game Star Trek Fleet Captains. I own this game for 2 or 3 months now, and I have to say it's quite fun. It's ranked quite good on Board Game Geeks. It has a rating 8 out of 10, which is really good. And this game features the Federation as one faction and the Klingons as another faction. Now there will be an expansion which is going to add Romulans. And I think this is a good idea, and I really like to see WizKids expanding the game and to continue developing that game. Then there is a great video that you can check out. Geek Nation held a panel at Wizard World in Philadelphia, and at this panel all 5 Star Trek TV captains were present, namely William Shatner, Patrick Stewart, Avery Brooks, Kate Mulgrew and Scott Bakula. This was quite fun, especially because it is free. You can just watch that panel that other people had to buy tickets for. Nothing world moving, actually. I think Avery Brooks had a really nice moment early in the panel when he took a step back and reflected on how the TV landscape looks now and how bland it actually is, and that it doesn't give much inspiration to young people. I thought that was quite a nice beat, and well, the rest of the panel was joyful, I have to say. Nothing world-changing, but it was really worth watching that. Then there is a fan fiction project that you may have heard of called Star Trek Phase 2, which was previously known as Star Trek New Voyages. And this is a fan series continuation of the original series produced by James Cawley. And well, James Cawley played James T. Kirk in that show, but will now be replaced by Brian Gross. Brian Gross is a professional actor, and so I think that this might benefit Star Trek Phase 2. So there you have it. That's a lot of stuff that's happening in Star Trek right now, and you can follow the links in the show notes if you want to learn more about any of these topics. So now let's continue to some stuff that happened in Stowe this week. So, after the fallout from last week's forum and community nuking, merging that happened with Perfect World, Brannon felt that he needed to write something on the Star Trek Online website, and I don't know what the purpose of this post was. Basically what he said was, Champion Online players will get a warning, and then a lot of words that didn't do anything for me. There was no sorry we upset you, there was no sorry we screwed up, sorry, nothing like sorry. So that was kind of disappointing. So I guess you would very much like me to tell you about the new fleet advancement system that is live on Tribble for testing. Well, I can't. Because first of all, I don't have a fleet over there, and second, I don't have a character as of yet. And since I don't have a PWE account, I can't copy over a character from Holodeck right now. So I can't tell you much about the fleet advancement system, but I can point you to some guys who have checked it out already. And I would like to point you to Stoked Radio. They did the second pilot episode, and they discuss the fleet advancement system, and I have put a link to that show in the show notes. Then there is a really interesting developer interview this week. Priority 1 had Or Rivera, the lead designer for Star Trek Online, also known as Captain Geko, on the show. And they discussed primarily starships and the starships that will hit the server when the fleet advancement system is introduced in Season 6. As one of your fleet projects, you can try to create and upgrade and advance a shipyard at your fleet starbase, and then you will be able to populate that fleet starbase with starships that players can buy. And there will be two types of ships. First of all, there will be retrofitted ships from lower tiers at tier 5. So there should be a tier 5 retrofit Nova, Saber, Olympic, and so on and so forth. No tier 5 Connie. Bummer. Well, so the retrofits are the first kind, and these will be obtainable, if I got that correctly, completely for in-game currency. But then there will be upgraded versions of the current tier 5 ships. For example, a new tier 5 Galaxy and a new tier 5 Sovereign class. They will be upgraded versions, they will have more shield strengths, more hit points, and 10 console slots. You won't be able to get these ships for in-game currency, not exclusively for in-game currency. In order to build them, you will need to obtain a schematic from the C-Store. And these schematics will be more affordable than the current tier 5 ships in the C-Store, because, well, in order to be able to craft these ships using the schematics, you will have already spent a lot of time and energy and resources into your fleet starbase and shipyard, so these will be more affordable than the current versions. But the new fleet variants of the tier 5 ships will not come with consoles. Also, the retrofitted ships won't come with their consoles. The consoles will be C-Store exclusive. So in order to build the perfect Galaxy class Star Cruiser, you will need to have both. You will need to have the Galaxy class from the C-Store, and you will need to have the fleet version of the Galaxy class in order to get saucer separation from the C-Store variant and the tougher hull and more console slots from the fleet ship. So, and finally, starting on July 2nd, the 900-day wet rewards will hit the game. Nothing too exciting. Veteran players will get a new starship material, a new gold variant option for the Jupiter class outfits, and new respect token for each character. So this is all for this week. I need to tell you that there won't be a show next week and the week after. Reason for that is that I'm on vacation and probably I won't have a green screen and probably I won't have a camera and I probably won't have the time to do any of the stuff, to do any of the editing. So thank you again for watching and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
Mach mal die Augen auf und guck das Spiel mal ganz verliebt an. Aber das Spiel angucken.
Okay, reicht das?